Game one goes to the Aces. How did it happen? What does it mean? And what's next? Locked on Women's Basketball WNBA Finals Edition starts now.
Ogunbowale for the win.
You are Locked On Women's Basketball, your daily podcast on women's basketball.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to Locked On Women's Basketball. I'm your host, Howard Megdal. I want to thank you for making us your first listen every day. Over 100,000 of you showed up again in September. We are always here for you 6 days a week, plus some bonus podcasts, such as now when we are into the WNBA Finals. So much ahead of us. Make sure you subscribe on YouTube or wherever you get your podcasts. Make sure you sign up today, not just for this, but for everything that's being done over at thenexthoops.com, where the great Jackie Powell and Matthew Walter have, as they have all year, all things Liberty and Aces to make sure you know these finals teams. We have somebody on every single WNBA team. We are rolling out our college basketball previews as well over the course of the month. It's $9 a month, $72 a year to have over 100 reported pieces on women's basketball in your inbox every single month. Make sure you subscribe today. And I want to take you back to a story that I remember doing back in 2018. We're sitting at a news conference with then Notre Dame head coach Muffet McGraw talking about her sophomore guard, a young woman named Jackie Young. And Muffet McGraw said something that caught a lot of people's attention, my own included. She said, Jackie Young has a chance to be the greatest player in the history of this program. That's a big statement. She is saying that just a couple of years after Jewel Lloyd graduates, a couple of years before that, Skylar Diggins-Smith graduated. That's the same team with Arike Ogunbowale. That team had 5 pros. I mean, we could talk about Jess Shepard all day. But after what we just saw in the 99-82 Game 1 victory by the Las Vegas Aces over the New York Liberty in Game 1 of a best-of-5 WNBA Finals, it is increasingly difficult to argue with Muffet McGraw. So segment 1, we're going to talk about that. Segment 2, we're going to talk a little bit about how Vegas won that paint battle and what that means for the Liberty, how the Liberty respond here. But we have to start with Jackie Young. Jackie Young set her playoff career high today with 26 points. She did it in customary fashion, only 9 of 15 from the field. She did not need volume to do it. She made 5 of her 8 threes. She was maybe as valuable on the defensive end as on the offensive end. 5 rebounds and 4 assists and 3 steals. The counting stats are always there, but her versatility. Look, we have talked on this program how many times the New York Liberty are the Noah's Ark of rosters. They've got 2 of everything. So what does that mean? That means you need a team that matches up against them in a way that allows for versatility on everything from matchup changes to switches within a possession. And it's just something that Jackie Young does as well as anybody in the game. You look at those guards for the New York Liberty, Sabrina Ionescu was dogged by Young all night. 2 of 7 for 7 points. Sabrina, who is having one of the best, if not the best, volume shooting seasons in WNBA history. To me, as big a deal from that as making only 2 shots is she only attempted 7. Sabrina has been able to have the kind of year she's had because you need so little space if you're Sabrina Ionescu to get that 3-point shot off. And she was able to do that in very limited ways this time around, thanks to the defense of Jackie Young. So I did. I put it to Asia Wilson and Kelsey Plum and Becky Hammond postgame. I said, look, given this performance, given what you've seen out of her, is she the best player in Notre Dame history? And Asia hedged. Asia's very good with the media, as she always has been, and said, well, she's my favorite Fighting Irish player, is what Asia Wilson said about her. But, talked about the value there. And Becky, who, didn't say it definitively, and I get that. And I was just curious whether they saw at this point that's where Jackie Young has gotten to. But she did say a couple things. She talked about the fact that she has to coach Jackie Young the least hard of any of her players. That what Jackie Young gives her comes from Jackie Young more than from what Becky Hammond's pulling out of her. Which is a really interesting statement to my mind in and of itself. She also talked about the fact that Jackie Young is just scratching the surface of what she can be. And that's a frightening thought. I mean, you even think about, what are the ways in which that is possible?
Someone is at the front door.
And it boggles the mind, right? What does she become? Somebody who's able to hit 20 shots, take 20 shots consistently in the game while maintaining the efficiency. I mean, the ceiling for a Jackie Young is essentially Tamika Catchings. Well, Tamika Catchings, and I've made this clear on the program, and I will say it until I am blue in the face, Tamika Catchings is the best player in the history of the WNBA. So if we're looking at a player, similar size, similar build, similar defensive versatility, Tamika Catchings ultimately won 5 Defensive Player of the Year awards. That's going to be hard for Jackie Young, or really for anyone on a team where Asia Wilson is the anchor of that defense and now the reigning Defensive Player of the Year as well. But is Jackie Young capable of playing at that level offensively and defensively? Is Jackie Young most critically, and this goes back to the last time the Liberty were serious contenders. The Liberty did not make the WNBA Finals, as we all know, since 2002. Well, 2015, they were really close. They were really close, and they had a 1-0 lead on Tamika Catchings for the right to go to the finals in what was then a best of 3. Yes, friends, the WNBA playoffs was too small then. If you feel it's too small now, it was really too small then. And Tamika Catchings took her Indiana Fever team, coached by Steph White, by the way. And it's not a coincidence either, into Madison Square Garden and won a game because Catchings elevated everybody. And it is an open question because it is one game of 5. It is a game that the Aces won. It is a game where a lot went wrong for the Liberty. And this is a New York Liberty team that has not lost 2 in a row all season. So we've got a long way to go. But if Jackie Young elevates her Aces team to another level, which was necessary, we found out that was necessary in August when a Jonquel Jones was healthy. New York Liberty team won repeatedly against the Aces all month long. Well, the Aces raised it. The Liberty went to another level in August, and the Aces met them and exceeded it here in game 1 of just an absolutely epic collection of stars. Whatever happens in this series, we will be talking about it for years to come. The comparison in my mind, it always goes back to those battles in the mid-2010s between the Minnesota Lynx and the Los Angeles Sparks. And ultimately, we're going to look back someday and going to say, oh my God, how many Hall of Famers were in that series? 2015, 2016, 2017, or 2016, 2017, 2015, of course, the great Tamika Catchings against the Minnesota Lynx. Well, how many Hall of Famers do you think we're seeing today? Today, remarkable, just remarkable level of basketball. And ultimately, the most valuable one on the court today is Jackie Young. So Muffet McGraw, who knows a thing or two about basketball, she said it, and now we're seeing it. So back with more on Vegas inside and what the Liberty need to do, especially in the backcourt after this. But first, I want to talk to you guys at home about game time. And so, there are a lot of ticket apps you can use, but there's some separators with game time, right? They have last minute tickets. You can get stuff even after the game starts. They have these flash deals. You're just walking around having a normal day. Suddenly you get a notification. Oh, I can have a much better day. I can go to that game. I can go to that concert. I have a family that enjoys going to things with me, whether it's music, whether it's theater, whether it's going to check out baseball, basketball, you name it. And game time helps make it easier to do. You can not only click on and see, oh, where are the tickets on a chart, you can see views from every seat in the venue. And the best part is, oh, impulse buy, right? And then somebody else has it for less. They have a lowest price guarantee. There's even cancellation protection. So Game Time really has all of this stuff together for you. Try it out. Don't take my word for it. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use the code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest prices guaranteed. So, if I had a single stat that I would provide you that I thought mattered most for this series, it would be this one. The New York Liberty and the Las Vegas Aces were tied this season in rebound percentage. They were tied, but they got there in dramatically different ways. The New York Liberty were the best offensive rebounding team in the league, and the Las Vegas Aces were 12th in offensive rebounding. It's just not what they do. It's not how you win if you're the Aces. We saw how you win if you're the Aces. You have a three-headed guard monster. You have A'ja Wilson not forcing, but finding the contact. I asked John Paul Jones about this postgame. What can you do to avoid fouling A'ja Wilson? He said, well, I've already gotten fined once. I don't want to get fined again. But it's not just a question of, it's not a question at all of, oh my God, the refs are in the tank for A'ja Wilson. That's not it. It is incredible brilliance on the offensive end by A'ja Wilson that she finds ways to induce contact and to give that contact in full view of officials to get the calls. She does that without sacrificing efficiency at the same time. It's really incredible. I mean, they should build a statue to her somewhere, I think. And so when you think about how the Aces win, this is about how they do it. How the Liberty win is offensive rebounds. Offensive rebounds are absolutely vital. If you are not getting offensive rebounds as a member, as the New York Liberty, you are simply not going to win this game. And they had only 6 of them. Only 6 against the Aces in game 1. Now, again, this is an Aces strength, right? It's not offensive rebound versus offensive rebound. The Aces are incredible at ending positions with defensive rebound. But the extent to which they were able to do that, especially in the second half, that bodes poorly for the Liberty if that trend continues. Liberty out-rebounded the Aces with a lot of attacks on the offensive boards throughout August in those wins. Aces overall out-rebounded the Liberty today, despite John Paul Jones, despite Breanna Stewart. And how did they do it? Well, I'll tell you. Breanna Stewart had 9 rebounds. John Paul Jones had 10 rebounds. She had her double-double. They didn't get her the ball much in the second half. JJ with 12 total shot attempts, excuse me, and 2 in each of the third and fourth quarters. It's not enough. Not enough. Not when A'ja Wilson is guarding Breanna Stewart. But 19 rebounds from Stewart and Jones, a total of 30 for the Liberty. Not enough. Kelsey Plum, 5 rebounds. Chelsea Gray, 6 rebounds. Jackie Young, 5 rebounds. Alicia Clark, off the bench, but again, we've talked about this. Alicia Clark, 28 minutes off the bench, effectively your starter. Another 5 rebounds. Everybody on that Aces team played a part. For the New York Liberty to win this series, they need to be in double digits in offensive rebounds. That's something you need to look for the rest of this series. And if the Aces are out rebounding them, that's a problem. But let's go one step further. Why else was it a problem? Why do you need those extra possessions? Well, Kelsey Plum, 26 points. Chelsea Gray, 20 points. Jackie Young, 26 points. That's 72 points from their 3 primary guards. Sabrina Ionescu, 7 points. Courtney Vandersloot, 10 points. And Benai Zelani, 11 points. And by the way, many of Vandersloot's points came late in the fourth after this had largely been decided. You can't lose that battle 72-28 and win this series. You can't do it. So the offensive rebounding needs to get better. You're going to need more from Jonquel Jones. You're probably going to need more from Breanna Stewart, who got 21 points, but it came on 19 shots. It was a lift. And it can't be that easy for A'ja Wilson to get her 19. She does it on 11 shots. I've said it on this show many times. Basketball is math. And so figuring out what the Liberty have to do different is central to game 2. But we talked to Sandy Brondello after the game. She made it very clear. This team has never lost 2 games in a row. It's very, very straightforward. Have to win that battle of the boards. Have to make sure you are sharing the ball better. They only had 11 turnovers, and that's significant. But 17 assists on 32 made field goals. 17 assists on 32 made field goals. That's a lot of one-on-one ball. And the other part is Maureen Johannes scored 17 points. She did her damage in the first half. The Aces trapped her, got the ball out of her hands. If you're trapping Maureen Johannes and getting the ball out of her hands, you should be creating opportunities for someone else on the floor. You cannot, if you are the New York Liberty, assume that Maureen Johannes is going to score 17 points every single first half. You can't do it. Cannot do it. I'm scratch that. So 14 points, but 14 points on 5 of 9 shooting. So bottom line, that can't be the plan going forward. It's not the plan going forward. We're going to be right back with what Sandy said is the plan. But first, let's talk about what our friends are doing over at Jace Medical. Jace Medical has this new thing. It's called the Jace case. It provides 5 life-saving antibiotics for emergency use. So here's how you get it. You call, you reach out either with treatment-related questions on a simple online form. Maybe there's a quick call. Maybe there's a quick Zoom with one of their board-certified physicians. But again, it's doctor-created and doctor-recommended. So you don't have to worry about where this is coming from. And at the same time, we've all had that experience, right? Where we're unprepared, where a medical emergency happens in a night, at a weekend. This is how you're able to care for yourself and your loved ones for the unexpected moments that come. So again, you take this Jace case and you save an average of $360 by doing it, but get another $20 off these life-saving antibiotics today from Jace Medical by using the code LOCKEDON at checkout at jacemedical.com. That's JASE medical.com, code locked on. So for Sandy, it was really very simple in the postgame. It came down to responding to bringing the intensity to match Las Vegas. And that's how she saw it too. They went to another level. and it's up to New York to go to another level as well. Now, for a sense of how you do that, one need look no further than what the New York Liberty did in Game 2 against the Connecticut Sun. After Game 1, a 78-63 loss, a lot of people probably counted New York out. Again, how many losses do New York have after how many losses do they have after a loss? 0. Game 2 is Wednesday night. It's 9 p.m. We will be here, of course, with immediate reaction. In the meantime, we have plenty of shows coming your way over the next few days. You're going to get a live reaction from Jackie Powell, who is on the ground in Las Vegas, talking about what she heard. She's speaking to further Liberty players right now, and she's going to bring it to you, Locked On Women's Basketball listeners. You're going to read about what she had to say, having talked to Courtney Vandersloot, Maureen Johannes. Bottom line, there's a lot more series to be played. So we'll be with you throughout it. Make sure you're checking out all we're writing at thenexthoops.com. Until then, I am Howard Megdal, wishing all of you guys a happy WNBA Finals.
Ogunbowale for the win.
You are Locked On Women's Basketball, your daily podcast on women's basketball.